Okay, I'm live. Are you live?
Yep,
All right,
I'm
cool.
good.
All right, hey everybody, we are back for our week two recap. I can't believe week two is already over. I feel like
It's crazy.
we were waiting for the season for weeks and months, and now we're already 2 weeks in. So, um, start by saying congrats to Jimmy. He was our week two high scorer with 182.3 points. It's quite the match. Let's see, he was about 30 points ahead of second, which appears to be me.
You.
So yeah, he kind of blew us all out of the water this week. We'll
Yep.
talk a little bit more about his matchup. What really sucks about that is Melissa had like a really respectable game. She would have beaten, you know, all but like three of us. So she just happened to go up against Jimmy on his best week. So, um, that kind of sucks. But that's the magic of having the sixth playoff spot be based on points scored, so that if you get screwed like that over and over and over, you can still make the playoffs. So 0 and 2. I've been there. I've started. This is the third year of this league. I've started every season except for this one 0 and 2. So anybody 0 and 2 right now, do not be discouraged because it means very very little this early on, especially with an extra game this year. So
Yep.
um, nothing to be concerned about. And again, if you get screwed by bad luck and you end up with a bunch of points, you're probably still going to make the playoffs anyways. So I'm just going to scroll down here. I'm looking at the standings. We'll go through these real quick. Not a whole lot still since we've only played 2 weeks, but there's three of us undefeated. Jimmy's up front, number one, Jimmy Moon there. Then it's
Crazy.
me, and then Kate. After we ragged on Kate's team before the season started, there she is, top three. So, you know, her
She'll go
team,
undefeated.
she could be. Um, then it's Ashley, then it's you, number five, Justin, Shannon, Scott, Henry, Melissa, Chris, and then JT bringing up the rear, which is really surprising because I actually really like JT's team coming out of the
Yeah,
draft. So for him to be dead last
I
is kind
did
of
too.
crazy. Um, all right, so I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and jump in the matchups here. Let's start with you and Ashley. Let's see, you won 153 to 142. That was a pretty close game at
It
times.
was
Um, we'll start with her. She's on the left side of my screen here. Tom Brady had another phenomenal game. Another 5 passing touchdowns. Wow,
ridiculous.
that's insane. Didn't
He's
even throw
40 years
300
old.
yards, but yeah, five. I think I read a stat the other day or heard a stat that he's like a handful of touchdowns away from throwing for more touchdowns in his 40s than he threw in his 20s, which is kind of a weird stat to begin with, but it's kind of just goes to show how good he still is and how much better he really is, right?
Yeah.
Because he's only 44, 45, so whatever the case is. DeAndre Hopkins had kind of a down game for Arizona, but you know, he's still
Surprising.
yeah, especially in the game he scored 34 points, but it happens. He had I don't know what his stat line was. He only had 4 targets. That's kind of oddball.
Still
Um,
solid.
yeah, it's kind of a Rondale Moore game, I think. So no biggie there. Not too concerned. DJ Moore with a great game, 8 for 79 and the touchdown. I love DJ Moore. He kind of disappointed last year because like Teddy Bridgewater didn't throw a deep ball, and that's DJ Moore's
Yeah.
specialty. But
I
um,
wish I took Gaskin instead of him.
uh,
It was hard between those two. I should have
yeah,
went more.
that's tough. That is tough. But yeah, DJ was looking to have a breakout season perhaps this time. Kamara was 7 points. Man, that's a disappointment. Saints in general just kind of got crushed by the Panthers.
Yep.
So nothing to be concerned about there. Just kind of a down game. James Robinson, you and I have talked about him. Don't really know. He got a little bit more usage. His snap count was up. Carlos Hyde was less involved. They just aren't using the running backs as much. So something of concern there. Jacksonville still does not look good. New coach doesn't seem to know what he's doing, but maybe they'll turn that around. George Kittle, man, we have him in the other league. Another disappointment. 5.7 points.
Yep.
Um, uh, I don't even
Well, the
know.
problem is they're always winning, right? So it's like
Yeah,
they don't need to throw the ball. So I
right.
think when they verse teams that actually can score points, he'll be useful again.
Yeah, definitely. He had 4 catches for 17 yards. Like,
Yeah, it was bad. It's bad.
that's rough. Chase Edmonds with a solid game. Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks has been so good. I think he's like wide receiver 8 on the year. It's only 2 games in, but everybody had kind of
He's
written off all the skill player positions in Houston, and
yeah.
Brandon Cooks. He's got like 7. He had 14 targets. 14 targets in this game. Like, I think I saw that was more targets than every other person on the team combined. Like, literally,
Yep.
it was just unbelievable. So, um, solid game all around from her. Unfortunately, she couldn't stack up to your team. So let's take a look at your team here. Tell us about your team, Jed.
We had Herbert with not really a great performance against Dallas. You would think that'd be a shootout, which it was. Um, throwing 1 touchdown, 2 picks, but 21 points. I'll still take it. Right, could be worse. AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on. We've talked about it. Tannehill looks terrible.
Yeah.
That line, I don't know. That line must be terrible. I'm not sure what's going on. But he still had 9 targets, so there's still plenty of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
McLaurin. I don't think you watched the game. I watched it. That was just so fun to watch. Heineke
Yeah.
looked good. Obviously, it was McLaurin's number one, without a doubt. No one's taken his position. Dalvin Cook had a good game. No touchdowns again, which is really surprising. But as long as he's
131
healthy,
rushing yards. I mean, you can't
yeah,
like
can't complain about that.
no.
Gaskin, I don't know. Tua going down scares me a lot, especially for him. But I would hope that means more dump offs.
They might
I
have to
don't
lean on
know.
him more. You
Yeah,
know.
Jared Cook. Honestly, I don't care who's at my tight end position as long as they get some points. I'm
Yeah.
not upset. Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
How about
that.
this game?
Woo, we have him in the other league too. I think he's going to be. He could finish as a top 5 receiver at this
Oh,
point.
definitely. That
Which
the connection between him and Stafford so far has been phenomenal. So I could definitely see that happening for sure.
and then Damian Harris, solid. Did you see his touchdown run?
No,
He
I
broke
didn't. Oh yeah,
he
I
broke
did. He had like 10
set.
people trying to
Yeah,
tackle him. Yeah, it
which
was
is
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't believe that. Um, yeah,
yeah,
wow.
he looked great. And then Arizona defense,
One sack. I like
one
their
sack.
stat line. One sack.
Yeah, it
That's
was
funny.
whatever.
Well, you pulled out the win. Cooper Cup definitely helped there. McLaurin with a great
He's
game.
why. Yeah.
AJ Brown. It was a Derrick Henry show, so not worried about him. He got a bunch of targets, like you said. So, all right, let's move on to the next matchup here. Should be
So you and
Justin
Hingle?
and
Oh,
we'll
ours
do
is
Justin
different.
and Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
So Justin kind of crushed this match, 151 to Chris's 94.
I
Largely
think we know
because of the
why.
Packers. Yeah, Packers had a great game last night, especially Aaron Jones with his 4 touchdowns. Um, so, like you talked about, Aaron Rodgers, 4 passing touchdowns, 3 of which went to Aaron Jones. 250 passing yards. Stephon Diggs has been kind of pedestrian so far this year. He's 15.9 and then 16 points, week 2. So I expect more from him. This was a game in which they didn't really need to rely on him since they won.
No.
They blew out the Dolphins.
On
Um,
Pittsburgh's defense is really hard to throw against. So for him to still get 16 points, that I would say that's pretty good.
yeah, right. Again, I mean, both these defenses are pretty good, right? Miami and Pitt.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about Diggs. His volume's still there. 13 targets, 8 targets. It's
Yeah.
it is what it is. Mike Evans finally had a game. I say finally,
Whew.
it's only week 2, but next week he'll
Yeah.
have like 7 points again. So
If
he was
that.
the guy in this game for Brady this week. Aaron Jones, we talked about 4 touchdowns, 41 points. It's phenomenal. These are the games you want from Aaron Jones.
Crazy.
Um,
Against
you know,
Detroit again.
yeah, Detroit. Yeah, you called it. He loves blowing up against Detroit. So
I
Miles
don't know why.
Sanders, mediocre game, 7 points, but they're playing against San Fran. So let's see. He had 13 attempts. I'm not sure how many targets he had, but can't be too upset about that volume.
Nope.
Gronk's killing it. I think he's like the second tight end on the season,
He's
second or third maybe.
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a touchdown machine. He doesn't get a ton of yards, but he's a red zone threat. Brady loves him. So
Brady loves it. So
yeah, they've had that mind meld together for like 10 years now. So
Did
that's
you
not
know that
going away.
they have a secret play or something like that? Like they call something. I don't know. It's like a specific word. Only those two know it. I don't
I
know if
would
that's
believe
like
it.
I don't. Yeah, it's pretty funny that they
Yeah,
have that.
I 100% can believe that. He had Corey Davis, not really do anything.
Zach Wilson looked terrible.
Yeah, that was part of it. Zach Wilson threw a bunch of picks. Jarvis Landry got hurt early in this game. He's going to be on IR for a few weeks, so that's unfortunate there. Nobody of concern really on his bench, but let's
Nope.
see. Let's take a look at Chris's team. Mahomes had a good game, despite losing to Baltimore, thanks to a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble. Brandon Ayuk was back in the action this week for a solid
There
one
you go.
catch. I don't know what's going on there, but whatever. He might be in the doghouse. DJ Chark, I know they had a terrible game. Trevor Lawrence wasn't looking great. Only one catch for 19 yards, but I think he's 12 targets to 4 targets in this past game. It's definitely a not good sign, but we'll see. Joe Mixon, 70 yards. He had a down game too. No touchdowns, just 70 yards in this game, only one catch. That's disappointing. But they played against Chicago, so you know,
Good defense.
yep. Chris Carson with a good game. Well, he had 2 touchdowns, only 31 rushing yards. So I don't know
Yeah.
if I would call that a good game, but he got saved by the touchdowns there. Robert Tanyan, you had him in the other
Oh
league.
yeah.
The touchdown was clutch, 3 catches, 52 yards,
Won me the
solid
week.
there. Yep. Jamal Williams, disappointing game. Lions players just kind of disappointing in general, unless you were T.J. Hawkinson. Mark Ingram, Mark Ingram. He's not going to really do much probably. He'll have the occasional game with a touchdown, get you like 10 to 15 points, but
That's it.
5 points is probably where he's going to live for most of the season. He left Rondell Moore on his bench. Rondell Moore's been killing it.
But I don't think anyone would have expected this game.
No,
I don't.
No, definitely not. You couldn't have started. I don't. Well, I may have started him over Ingram, honestly, but it's easy to say that looking back.
Yeah.
But going forward, he's going to be definitely worth a start. He's been a solid, like, kind of number 2 on that team behind Hopkins, and he's a rookie, so these guys can blow up. They always have potential. So, all right. So, congrats to Justin there on getting his win. So let's go ahead and move on to next up for me is JT and Kate. Yeah, the coworker matchup here. So this was probably I think one of the low scoring matchups. Let me see here.
It was the lowest
It
scoring.
was definitely the lowest scoring matchup of the week.
Well,
although Scott and
yeah,
Shannon were
yeah.
pretty close
Yeah.
too. So
That's what I was looking at too.
so yeah, kind of a low scoring affair here. Starting with JT. Stafford had a solid game, 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. You're not upset about Stafford's play there. Robinson, I think he dropped a touchdown. I think I heard pretty egregiously. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but
I did not.
yeah, he apparently had a touchdown that either got called back or he dropped it, so he could have probably doubled his points there. Robert Woods has been disappointing this year. It's only 2 weeks in, so it's hard to read too much into these things, but it's the Cooper Cup show so far.
The thing is, we knew that he had the floor, though. I don't think we expected him to have a great ceiling, but 12 points is still that's the floor you want when you drafted him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, he's had 12 points and 12 points in 2 games. Like, okay, that's fine. He's a wide receiver too. He's solid. He got 9 targets in this game, so he'll probably have better games too. I'm not too worried about Robert Woods. I just think if you roll the dice on the Cooper Cup Robert Woods game and you got Cooper Cup, you're probably feeling pretty lucky.
Yeah, you won.
Definitely won. Zeke had a much better game.
As expected.
Yeah, had almost 100 yards in this game, a touchdown. So, back to form. You mentioned it before. The game was kind of disappointing in terms of like everybody thought it was going to be a shootout, right? Just offense slinging the ball nonstop. I think Dak only threw like 27 times or something after throwing almost 60 times last week.
Yeah.
So kind of a weird game how it played out, but the running backs seem to be kind of the stars of the show here. There's Darrell Henderson. He got banged up, right? His ribs.
Ribs, yeah.
Yeah. One of a couple of rib injuries this weekend. 17 points. He had a touchdown, so he had a pretty good game before he got hurt.
Yep.
Juwan Johnson, tight end. I just
started
realized
him.
he's got a wide receiver eligibility. That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah, because he had two touchdowns a week prior, right? Yeah. Yeah, everybody was chasing the touchdowns on this guy, and then he comes out with 1 catch for 23 yards. So I'm not too surprised about that. But there was also a really down game for everybody in New Orleans, so we'll see. He could come back. Ridley had a pretty nice game. I didn't realize this. He had 7 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. That's not bad. I mean, still you want more out of him, but certainly better than last week where he put up 10 points. So
let me tell you, when I saw it was 4th and 3 is when he got that touchdown. So I was so ecstatic because he wasn't doing great without that.
Yeah,
and that's 7 points off the board. So.
Right, exactly. So okay, well, good. Well, sometimes all it takes is one play for these guys. Robbie Anderson continues to disappoint here into week 2. I think he's going to be kind of phased out of this offense with Christian McCaffrey back, honestly, and kind of Sam Darnold there. DJ Moore is become the guy.
What's funny?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is that we know Sam Darnold, at least so far, was not the problem in New York. Well, he was probably some of it, but with the better coaching and actual weapons, I mean, he looks pretty good.
Yeah. The team's 2-0. I mean, it's kind of funny. Some of the teams that are still undefeated right now. It's like in the AFC, it's what the Raiders and the Broncos, I think, are the only undefeated teams. And then in the NFC, I'm not sure. I know it's like the whole NFC West, I think, is undefeated. But,
I believe so.
Carolina as well, I think. So it's kind of funny. Looking at JT's bench, he's got Pollard on the bench too. It's funny, Pollard outscored Zeke in this game.
It's
I've been hearing
crazy.
that Pollard's been looking pretty good. I know the snap share still favors Zeke, meaning he's on the field more. But it seems like when Pollard's on the field, he tends to get more usage. At least again this
Yeah.
game. So something to keep an eye on. If anybody afraid of Zeke being kind of washed after week one when he was pretty terrible against the Bucks, well, this was a bounce back game for him for sure. The only concern for me going forward is what's the usage between him and Pollard going to be? Because Pollard is no longer just a handcuff, in my opinion. He's actually a borderline startable weapon. So something to keep an eye on. Shepard, man, 9
I'm really
catches.
shocked he benched Shepard. I would have played
Yeah,
him instead of Anderson, to be honest.
yeah, I think I would have too. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but yeah, after Shepard's week one, Shepard's always been a player though. It's kind of been up and down. He'll have these occasional good games. So I guess I get not chasing that. I probably maybe would have done the same and just kind of said, okay, maybe that was a week one anomaly for Shepard. Maybe that was a week one anomaly for Anderson. Let's just leave things as is. But turns out it was not the case. Shepard had another good game. All right, so let's talk about the winner of this game. Kate pulled out a win, only by about 6 points here. And let's see. So, starting with Russell Wilson, he had a good game. Let's see, 350 passing yards almost, 2 touchdowns. Can't be upset about the 30-point game from your quarterback.
Nope.
Amari Cooper had a down game compared to week one where he put up 40 points. He only had 5 targets in this game, only 3 catches. He did get banged up. I think he got another rib injury, just like.
That was at the end of the game.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Know.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what really happened in this game. I know CeeDee Lamb was pretty solid. It was a low passing value day, so none of the wide receivers really did much of note. It's not like CD went out and put up 50 points while Amari did nothing. They were both just kind of middling. So I'm not concerned about Cooper there. He'll bounce back, no questions asked. Juju had a good game, 16 points. He had 1 touchdown, 6 catches, 41 yards. I mean, saved by the touchdown there, but it's okay. I think with Deontay Johnson banged up right now.
Juju will
definitely
get more looks.
Does Deontay have a rib injury? No.
No,
he's a knee. Yeah. I was gonna say I feel like there was 2 or 3 rib injuries. Yeah, I think I like Juju going forward while Deontay's hurt. I think he's gonna be. He could easily probably put up 15 to 20 points as long as Deontay's out. So expect good things from him. Barkley 9 points. You know what though? Despite the 9 points, I did watch some of that game, that Thursday night game, and I thought he looked pretty good when he touched the ball. He had that long 41-yard run, which has kind of always been Barkley's thing, right? He has these sort of home run plays, and then outside of those plays, he kind of doesn't do much. Probably in part because of the Giants' offensive line, but I think that's how he was in college too. His snap usage went up big time. I think he was like 50% snap percent week one, and then he was like 80 or high 70s week two. So that's promising. Even though he only had 13 attempts, and I don't know how many targets, maybe 1 or 2. Seeing him on the field more is always good.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna continue to work him back into the offense, and I think we'll see some good games from Barkley. So, I think these early games are going to be some of his worst. So good things to look out for there. Devin Singletary with another good game. I don't know what the hell is going on with Devin Singletary, but 17 points. I think he had a long touchdown rush here, so that definitely bolstered his points a little bit. It seems like Buffalo might actually be relying on the run a little bit more. He didn't have a ton of volume, but he had enough volume to put up 17 points. So what are your thoughts there?
Didn't Zach Moss score 2 touchdowns?
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, so there you go. There's 3 touchdowns for the running backs right there. Running backs who, you could have probably taken any 6-week span last year and found that the 2 of them combined didn't have 3 touchdowns in that 6-week span. And here we go, in one game, they scored 3. So weird things happening in Buffalo. Josh Allen's been kind of disappointing. We'll talk about him in a little bit. It just isn't throwing as much. Clearly not throwing many touchdowns. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't really need Josh Allen to throw in this game when they kind of blew Miami out 35-0.
Yeah.
So no big deal there. But maybe Singletary will actually be like a decent asset going forward. We'll see.
We'll see about that one.
Yeah. Still too early to say. Travis Kelce, number 1 tight end on the week, probably both weeks honestly in a row at this point. He had 26 points last week, 27 points this week.
It's ridiculous.
Doesn't get any more consistent than Travis Kelce. 7 catches, a touchdown, 100 plus yards. Like there you go, Travis Kelce. He's going to do that every week, no matter who they play. Um, he's Tyreek Hill had a bad game, but who didn't? Travis Kelce. So
Did you see his touchdown play?
I don't think so. No.
He caught the ball and ran it like 40 something yards on us. It was
Oh God.
ridiculous. We just couldn't keep up or tackle him. It
Uh,
was crazy.
yeah, that's him. Yeah, he's just so good. Kenny Galladay. You know what? 7 points from Kenny G. Like you're not happy about that, just like the sort of the Barkley number. But he's getting a lot of targets. He had 8 targets
Yeah.
in this game. He seems to be one of Danny Dimes' favorite targets there. So outside of Sterling Shepard. So again, I think you're going to have some down games from him. I think you're going to have some better games. Yeah, it's just going to be the way it is probably. But at least there's promising things in store. So I'm not too disappointed. Dallas Goedert, you kind of said it earlier. You're kind of happy with whatever points you get from your tight end
Yep.
half the time. Although I just realized Dallas Goedert was a flex play
It's a
here for
flex.
Kate. Wow. Okay. She won with Dallas Goedert in her flex spot. Let's see who she could have started otherwise. Uh, Jalen Waddle. I thought. Okay, yeah, she does have. Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't start Jalen Waddle there. I probably wouldn't have started Zach Pascal over him, but Jalen Waddle, I think I would have, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Goedert against San Fran. That was a interesting choice there, but it doesn't matter. She still won, so it didn't really
Doesn't
affect
matter.
it.
Yep.
And it was only a couple points more. It was actually exactly double points for Jalen Waddle versus Goddard, but did not matter in the end. She pulled up the W, so Kate remains undefeated. Let's talk about our next matchup, which for me is Melissa and Jimmy. This is the match of the week right here.
Are you at the top on your screen?
I am, and I usually just
Yeah.
save my
Okay.
game for
So
last.
right. So mine. Yeah. So that's why ours is. Okay.
So starting with Melissa, Kyler Murray just, he was QB1 for like the
Ridiculous.
first 13 weeks last year. He picked that right back up. So he's
And
QB1,
and that was
49
because of
points.
his rushing,
Yeah,
not because of his throwing. This dude's now throwing so many
yeah.
touchdowns.
He hit 400 passing yards on the dot in this game. So Melissa got the 5-point bonus there. Just boom, 400 yards, not even 1 yard over. It doesn't tell me how many yards he rushed for. Do you know?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. But it doesn't matter. He threw 3 touchdowns, he ran for 1, and he passed for 400 yards. So can't say any more about this other than Kyler Murray was he was the guy. If I was going to take a quarterback early, it was going to be him. And
Yep.
I still didn't want him, but just because we don't like the early QB, but he was the guy I really wanted. So here's Tyreek Hill. We talked about him down game. He was covered pretty well in this game, and they just relied on Travis Kelce and other people. So it is what it is. Cortland Sutton, I like this. He had
Yep.
12 targets in this game. So this is the first
Crazy.
week with Jerry Jeudy out with the high ankle sprain. Cortland Sutton basically stepped right in. He said, "Okay, I'll take all those targets, thank you." And he had 9 catches for 160 yards, not even a touchdown, and he put up 33 points. So,
You
um,
love that.
yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of Cortland Sutton. Again, people kind of forget that he was like really good 2 years ago. I think that was his rookie season. Then
Yep.
everybody was hyped about him last year. Like, just super excited for him. Second year, sophomore season for him. Like week 1, he gets hurt and he's out for the season. So, we've kind of had like a whole year gap without seeing, how good Cortland Sutton can be, but I think we're about to see it for a while here. Najee Harris finally had a good game.
Yep.
Saved by a long touchdown, I believe. I heard on the radio as we were driving to the wedding. Not a whole lot of yards in this game. Volume's still good. He's still getting basically 100% of the snaps. I think Benny Snell came in for like 2 plays in this game, and that was it. It's still a little scary. He's 3.8 yards per carry. Volume's not super high, but this was a game they were losing, so the game script wasn't in their favor. I
Yeah.
assume there'll be more favorable game scripts going forward, but we'll see. Ronald Jones, I don't know what you do with this guy. I mean, I think he finished as a top 20 back last year, but like he's just so mediocre, and he does something wrong, and he gets put in the doghouse, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, this is better than last week. He finished with negative -0.6 last week,
Yeah.
so he swung that the other way. But let's see who she has. Just looking at her
She
bench
has
here.
no running back on the bench.
Nope, she could not have started anybody else. I mean, I wouldn't have started Larry Roundtree. I wouldn't have started. Well, you couldn't have started Josh Jacobs because he was hurt. Yeah, she didn't have a choice here, unfortunately. So we won't dwell on that much longer. It just sucks that Ronald Jones is kind of crappy. Kyle Pitts with pretty solid game here. 6 targets,
Yep.
73 yards. Like you know, second game for the highlight of the century, Kyle Pitts, or the prospect of the century, Kyle Pitts. Maybe he's going to come into his own. Apparently, he's quickly become the second favorite target on that team behind Ridley. So
Oh yeah.
good things in store probably for Kyle Pitts. Jamar Chase with a okay game, 13 points against Chicago. It is what it is. He got a touchdown, probably saved by
Yep.
that. Only 2 catches, so definitely saved by that. But that's okay. You'll take what you can get. Cole Beasley. How many targets did he have? Only 4 targets in this game. Again, it was a game they didn't really need to throw the ball, right? We talked about it with Diggs. He just didn't. Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, 3 touchdowns, so did not need them.
Nope.
And we talked about our bench. All right, let's talk about Jimmy's team here. Let's get into the good stuff. What I like about Jimmy's team this week is he had the most points by like 30, and he had a player on his team give him a goose egg. He had 0 points from Gabriel Davis, another Buffalo wide receiver who obviously wasn't needed in this game.
Yep.
He could have had another almost 20 points if he started Lamar Jackson. Didn't we talk about this in the previews last week that we would start Lamar Jackson here over Jalen Hurts? Jimmy, come on,
Pretty
man,
sure we did.
listen to us. We called it. You start Lamar Jackson. It doesn't matter. He still won. He still got the high score. So, it's all about padding those points for, right? If you're at risk of missing out of the playoffs, at least if you have the most points, you're going to make it. So, but it is what it is. The rest of his bench was garbage. Oh my god! Look at all the Qs on his bench. IR and 4 Qs.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think Odell's coming back. But anyways, back to his team. Jalen Hurts had a solid game. We won't talk too much about that. Justin Jefferson back after kind of a down week 1. Still isn't like blown up, but 19 points. You're happy with that. Julio Jones, how about this? Good game from Julio. 8 targets.
Touchdown called back.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of a nonsense call too, some sort of weird rule or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
didn't
what
really
it was,
understand
but,
it.
Yeah, so he could have easily had a 30-point game here. That's something to be said for that. Second game, Julio Jones here, starting to shine a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on him going forward. Now, how about Derrick Henry? Derrick freaking Henry. So I didn't watch any of this game, but what I heard was he didn't really do anything in the first half. So
Nope.
all of his production was in the second half of this game, which is
Yep.
mind blowing to me. And the thing that's crazy, so he put up 56 points. That's phenomenal already, right? He had 35 rush attempts. 35 freaking rush attempts. Like, to put that in perspective, if you have a running back who has 25 opportunities in a game, that is phenomenal. That is like the workhorse back of that team, 25. Derrick Henry rushed it 35 times, and then he had 6 targets on top of that. He had 41 opportunities in this game. Like, what do you need other players on the team for when you're just going to give the ball to Derrick Henry 41 freaking times? Like, I don't know how many plays I ran in this game. Like, probably 60 something, right? That's like an average number of plays to run. So it's conceivable to say that Derrick Henry was part of 2/3 of the offensive plays for this team. Like,
Yep.
that is absolutely unreal. So he rushed 35 times for 182 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had another 6 grabs for, it doesn't show me here, but I think it was something like 40 or 50 more yards. So he was like pushing 250 all-purpose yards on the day. Just absolutely monstrous. If Derrick Henry keeps getting, 3, 4, 5, 6 catches a game, all of a sudden his value just shoots through the roof, right? Like the reason Derrick Henry was kind of like in that 4th overall range in most leagues that don't have Jimmy Moon in it is because he doesn't catch the ball, right? He's never caught the ball. Like, I think I saw in this game alone he had like a third of his total targets, like all of last season, right? Like something like that.
I believe it.
So, like, if you can get Derrick Henry involved in the passing game and add that element to him, well, you have a clear contender for the number 1 overall running back on the year. Christian McCaffrey be damned. Like, you're not going to compete with Derrick Henry if he's catching the ball too.
Nope.
So, we made fun of Jimmy after taking Derrick Henry 2nd overall over, Dalvin Cook and Kamara and stuff, but it doesn't look so dumb now, does it?
Nope.
Melvin Gordon, 9 points. Doesn't matter. Had Derrick Henry. Darren Waller, wow. Crappy game from Darren Waller, actually. Only 5 catches. How many targets in this game? Only 7, wow. Down from his 19 the previous week. Hey, 12 points from your tight end, you're happy. And when you have Derrick Henry, you don't care. Mike Williams, how about this? Phenomenal game. I think he outscored Keenan Allen. touchdown, 7 catches, almost 100 yards. Like he's been balling this season. 12 targets first game.
Staying
Uh,
healthy.
yeah, he's staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to keep being really good. Gabe Davis, talked about that. Didn't need the Buffalo receivers, and he probably wasn't worth starting anyways. Who did he have on his bench he could have started? Nobody. That's right. We already talked
No,
about that.
yeah.
Buffalo defense, of course, had a great game, shutting out Miami. So good for them. 6 sacks. Wow, excellent. 2 fumble recoveries. Man, good stuff. So congrats to Jimmy. Jimmy wins $5 this week. I need to remember to send that. Okay. Anyways, next matchup. This is Scott and Shannon for the second lowest scoring game of the week.
Yep.
So let's see. We already talked about Josh Allen. Won't dwell too much there. DK Metcalf, it was kind of the Tyler Lockett show a little bit this week, so not too concerned. He still had 11 targets. Yeah, he's going to be fine. DK will. At some point, everything will regress to the mean. Lockett will come back down to earth. Metcalf will, have a resurgence. All will be well. Thielen also came back down to earth a little bit after a solid week 1. No big deal there.
I still like. I mean, 16 points from Thielen is still fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're happy with that.
Because what did you draft him like round 5?
Yeah, exactly. Like 16. That's you're happy with that. You're absolutely happy with 16 points from Thielen. Chubb 17 points in this game. You kind of would expect more against Houston, but only 11 rush attempts. He almost had 100 yards though in the touchdown. So you're not disappointed by that. Like he's still he's still really good. He did what he did with limited opportunities in this game, but you would have hoped for more playing against Houston, but it is what it is. David Montgomery only 11 points in this game against Cincy. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. He had 20 rushes. It's just, he was 3 yards per carry, no touchdowns, 3 catches for 18 yards. So, not worried about David Montgomery, especially after he kind of obliterated the Rams in the prior week.
Yeah.
Noah Fant, good game. He's also sort of a benefactor of Jerry Jeudy being out, even though he only had 4 catches, 6 targets, but not too bad. Yep, got a touchdown that helped him. Claypool, 10 points, okay. He's gonna have up games, down games. He might see a little boost if Deontay's out. Not as much as Juju we'll see though. Elijah Mitchell, man, this game was rough for the 49ers running backs. Like
3 of them got injured.
Yeah, like who are they down? I mean, they've lost Mostert. Trey Sermon's going to be in a concussion protocol. Jermichael Hasty, I think, has an ankle sprain, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. Elijah Mitchell banged up something in this game. He came back in, but he's still hurt.
Wasn't his ankle or something?
Yeah, I think it was his ankle. I mean, they've got the guy they picked up from the Ravens, Trent Cannon or whatever his name is.
It was his shoulder.
And then they have shoulder. Okay, Kerryon Johnson. Like they're down to scraps at this point. I just don't. Man, it's kind of like the Ravens, though, right? I mean, we're down to people we signed off the street, so it is what it is. 49ers will make it work. New England had a solid game against the Jets. I think, 4 picks. Zach Wilson not having a good day. So Scott left Hollywood on his bench. That's fair. I don't blame him for kind of letting Hollywood get the speed, but he's had 2 solid weeks now. First week he put up 20 points. This week he put up 26. So Hollywood's had a touchdown in both games. He's had at least 6 targets in both games. Like he kind of seems to be the guy this year. It has not been Mark Andrews. It has not been. So
nope.
I think Hollywood is definitely worth a start going forward. I think just based on his current lineup, I'd probably slot him in over Mitchell.
100%.
And leave probably Claypool in there because you never know when Claypool's going to have a big game. Rest of his bench, pretty. Callaway, I would probably even drop at this point. I'm not sure he's even worth a roster spot. All right, let's talk about Shannon's team. We talked about this. Dak Prescott, like disappointing game. He did not have to throw the ball much. I think he only had 26 or 27. He had 27 attempts. He's 23 for 27, so he was super super efficient. But no passing touchdowns, not a lot of yards. Just all around kind of, weird game. Nobody expected this. Devontae Adams, 23 points. Funny thing is, no touchdowns. Oh, man. I about had a heart attack last night, so I'm watching the end of that game because, I'm playing against Melissa in another league, and she's got, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is, like, catching up to my team in points and stuff, and all of a sudden I see Rodgers bomb it downfield to Adams. I'm like, oh, God. And it was like one of Aaron Rodgers' only misses of the entire game. And I was like, thank God.
He overthrew a couple to MVS.
MVS, yeah. It was like I think I read today Aaron Rodgers had like 5 incompletions in this game, 4 to MVS, and then that one to Devontae Adams, the long
Yeah.
one. So he was hyper efficient too in this game. But if Devontae Adams 23 points, I mean, you know, you'll have some bigger games than that from him, but you're not upset about a 23-point game from anybody.
Nope.
T. Higgins, solid game, had a touchdown, 60 yards. That's okay. Eckler, I like this. Eckler's back after
Yeah.
week 1 where he had exactly 0 targets. He had 9 in this game, and he caught every single one of them for 61 yards. Um,
I
yeah,
think his hamstring injury played a big part in that. They
that
probably
could
didn't
be.
want
Yeah, that could
to
absolutely
overwork
be.
him.
So I love it. I love seeing that though. He had 9 rushes as well, so 9 rushes, 9 targets. I love that volume. I love the usage. Like I said, I don't care about the rushes. Give him the targets. Let that man get open and let him
Yep.
do what he does. So that's great to see. Mike Davis, okay, had an okay game. Kind of saved by the 7 receptions. Honestly, he would have been probably.
He just kept getting so many dump offs.
Yeah, you take away those 7 catches, and all of a sudden he's got 6 points. So, um, Mark Andrews did end up with 11 points. Okay, he's probably not. I don't remember where Shannon drafted him. It was probably third, fourth round, but probably not super thrilled with Mark Andrews so far. But you're also not thrilled with George Kittle. So
Nope.
time will tell. Debo with another great game here. 6 catches for almost 100 yards. Debo's kind of the guy right now. They don't need Kittle. They don't want Ayuk. They don't want any of these other clowns. It's pretty much Debo. We'll see how that plays out. Antonio Brown. It was not Antonio Brown or Chris Godwin's day. It was Mike Evans. It was Mike Evans' day. So
At least Godwin scored.
yeah, that's true. Godwin was saved by something. Antonio Brown just kind of fell off the face of the planet. That's probably going to happen. He may still end up being, the third wide receiver on this team at the end of the day. I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah. Mike Evans and Godwin are younger and probably just as talented. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. All right, anybody on the bench? They left points. Kirk Cousins had a good game for Shannon. Starting Kirk Cousins would have actually, I think, got her the win, but you don't start Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott.
No.
So
no one would
cannot
ever do
falter for that.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think I would have made any other changes to my lineup based on what she's got down there. So unfortunate loss for her, but I'm sure she'll bounce back. She's got a solid lineup. She's got a pretty good team. So I expect better days for her. So congrats to Scott on that one. All right. Last one is my matchup. Me and Henry. Sorry, Henry, your Christian McCaffrey was not enough to save you in this game, as you lost by 52 points here. Tannehill with an okay game. We kind of talked about that. He had 350 passing yards, just no passing touchdowns because Derrick Henry. What do you need to throw the ball for when you've got Derrick Henry running it 35 times? Yep. Tyler Lockett, monster game, 180 yards, 8 catches, touchdown. He's balling, like we talked about with DK. He'll regress to the mean eventually, but I'll take what I can get for now. CeeDee Lamb had really the only solid game of the receivers in this game. It was kind of the running backs, so 17 points for Lamb. I'll take it. 9 targets, an improvement over last week. He only had one target and he didn't catch. I'm not sure if it was a drop, if it was bad pass, whatever. It doesn't matter. Jonathan Taylor, disappointing game here. I think he got stuffed at the goal line like 3 times. But tough defense against the Rams. I know Montgomery had gouged them the week before, but I'm still not overly concerned. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be fine in most games.
There's a stat that was released that he leads the league in touches within the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
So,
which is always promising, right? You want that.
Oh,
I mean, you want him to score on those, but if he can be there and carry the ball, he's going to get the touchdowns eventually. They'll come. Antonio Gibson, disappointing game on Thursday. Man, I hate seeing J.D. McKissic out there. That's just so frustrating. Like 2-minute drill, it's just J.D. McKissic just running it, catching it, everything you want Gibson to be out there doing. And then it's like, okay, still 2-minute drill, goal line, J.D. McKissic. Like, oh, come on now. Like, Gibson is better than McKissic, but I get it. He's, McKissic's probably better pass blocker, whatever the case may be. So, I'm not worried about Gibson, but it is frustrating.
He's averaging 7 yards a game, so that's really good.
Yeah, he's fine. He'll be okay. I'm not overly concerned about Antonio Gibson. It's just, there's certain teams that have certain players where it's just like, man, you wish players would go away, right? Like, if you're a Zeke owner, you probably wish Pollard goes away. Gibson owner, you kind of wish McKissic goes away. Like, there's a bunch of those situations. T.J. Hawkinson, another solid game. He's probably tight end 2 or 3 on the season right now. I'm loving that so far.
Goff loves him.
Yeah, Goff does love him. He's the number 1 target. It's him and Swift, and then it's What's that
Some
guy's name?
rookie.
Quintez Cephas and Amon Ra. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, they're all meh. Oh, I didn't even realize Deontay Johnson had 22 points in this game.
I
I
didn't
did
either.
not realize that. 12 targets. I just love how much Ben targets him. It's phenomenal. Like, he's nothing special. He's not like a special player. He just gets a lot of volume from Ben. So I'll take it. DeAndre Swift scored about half of his points in the last drive of that game with
Yeah, it's
like three
bunch of
dump
catches.
offs, and yeah, he looked really good too. Like, you throw him the ball, he gets yards. Like, do that
Yep.
more, Goff. Like, I don't understand, but whatever. Not a coach. Okay, anybody on my bench? Oh yeah, Pittman and Ruggs randomly went off. You know,
Yeah.
I would not have started either of them, but you know,
No.
hindsight is 2020. All right, let's look at Henry's team here. Jameis had a terrible day. Just the Saints in general had a terrible day. 111 pass yards. Wow. 22 attempts for 111 yards. That's terrible. That's awful. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Yeah. Whew, okay. Bad day for Jameis for sure. Keenan Allen, 108 yards. Hey, you're not upset about that. Ooh, only 4 catches. Holy crap.
Yeah, it
8
was.
targets. But wow. Mm. That's a low volume day for Keenan Allen. That's for sure. Again, this was a weird game though between Dallas and LA, right? So
Yeah.
just
I'll
weird.
take 7. I'll take 18 points
Oh,
though.
absolutely. Yeah, you're not upset about that. Godwin, like you said, had a touchdown. Kind of got saved by that. Otherwise, he's looking at about 10 points.
Yep.
So it is what it is. It was a Mike Evans day. Christian McCaffrey did what Christian McCaffrey does. Had a great game. Um, rushed it 24 times. I would love to know how many targets he had in this game.
I don't know why they don't show
I
that. It's
know
really
it's so
annoying.
like the app does, but for some reason the page doesn't. It's very frustrating. Um, yeah, I bet you he probably had 5, 6, 7 targets on top of those 24 rushes. So gotta love his volume. I know he came out of this game briefly. I think he was banged up, but he went back in. So no concerns there. He will continue to dominate, I'm sure. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Ooh, what do you think about this?
He didn't look good.
Nope. Oh, Clyde Edwards despair. Yeah, I mean he fumbled at the most critical time of the game. The Chiefs win that game every time, um, except when Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbles the ball and gives it back to us. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
if you just let Patrick Mahomes keep slinging it, 9 times out of 10, Chiefs come back and win that game. No
Yep.
question about it. So that was the worst case scenario for them. Clyde does not look good. I was just reading something before I came down here. He's like of there's like 51 running backs on the season who have 10 or more touches, and he's at like the bottom of every metric for those 51 running backs, just every single one of them. So
This year?
yeah, this year, just the first 2 weeks, he just looks terrible. The metrics say he's terrible. It's kind of funny reading about him a little bit. He was not the top prospect coming out of the draft last year. Like he was drafted ahead of guys that everybody said were better, like DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Taylor and um, I can't remember some of the other rookie running backs from last year, but like all of them were above Clyde. Yet the Chiefs took Clyde, and Clyde was apparently known in college for catching the ball, and they don't throw the ball to him. So it's like, what are you doing? Why did you waste a first round pick on this guy that you
Yeah.
don't use? And he's not. I don't know. Whatever. He's not that fast. He's nothing special. So I'm worried about Clyde. Like the alarm bells are sounding for Clyde for me. He'll have some okay games, but I think you're going to be disappointed by him more often than not. Tyler Higbee, this was also a disappointing game. He had 1 catch for 8 yards. He kind of disappeared. I think I saw he was out on the field for 100% of the snaps. He ran routes on almost every snap he was out there. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of the Cooper Cup show. So no big deal there. Devonta
Which we love.
Smith, yeah, absolutely. Devonta Smith only 2 catches for 16 yards. Okay, he's a rookie wide receiver. It was a bad day. You're gonna get
Tough
more of that.
defense.
Yep, tough defense. So no concerns there. Kareem Hunt, 6 points. Okay. Even Chubb didn't have a great game, so you're going to have these games from Hunt more often than Chubb, that's for sure. Tampa Bay, great game. Wow, I didn't realize the final score of the game was 48-25. Holy crap!
Yeah.
I'm surprised the other
That's
guys didn't have more points. Like where did those points? I don't understand. Where did they come from? They're like, I guess here you go, 2 touchdowns. Okay, I just answered the question. 2 touchdowns were defensive touchdowns, so that's why. So I'm trying to think, is like Godwin didn't do anything special, and Antonio Brown didn't do anything special, and Rojo and Fournette. I guess Gronk had a good game. Henry's sitting here with 2 empty bench spots too. Henry, you might want to slot somebody in there. Anybody's better than nothing. So
Yeah.
you know, on his bench, a couple quarterbacks. Really nothing special down there. He's got a couple handcuffs in Madison and Hubbard. But okay, all right, let's move on. We're going to talk about. Unless you have anything else to add for any of these matchups.
Nope. Do
All
not.
right, let's talk about let's do week 2 preview. So again, congrats to Jimmy. Week 2 high score,
Congrats.
182 points. Good job, Jimmy. All right, let's talk week 2 or week 3. Sorry. Um, we'll start with Ashley and Kate because they are kind of first here. All right, well, I'm seeing some good matchups. DJ Moore against Houston, Hopkins against Jacksonville. Kamara hopefully has a bounce back week, even though they're playing against New England. Um, she's got some decent matchups. I don't know if I like Brandon Cooks this much this week because they got the that rookie quarterback, something Mills.
Brian Mills.
Yeah, Brian Mills maybe, whatever it is, something Mills, or Mills Davis Mills, whatever it is. Brandon Cooks is probably going to take a hit with him out there. I'm not sure I would start anybody over him though. I think I'd still roll the dice that Brandon Cooks is going to be the number 1 target on this team. But Carolina defense has been pretty good, so have to be a
Yeah.
little bit concerned there. Just looking at Kate's team, Wilson's got a good matchup. Amari Cooper, if he plays, I think they expect him to, but you never know. I mean, he could be kind of limited snaps. We might not see too much of him. Juju against Cincy, I really like, especially since Deontay's probably trending downwards for this week.
Yeah.
Wow, Barkley's projected for 19 points in this game. I think it's doable. I mean, he obviously hasn't gotten anywhere near that yet, but he will get to that point at some point. And week 3 could be it against Atlanta. This could be the game that he needs. Singletary, tough defense this week. He's continued to surprise me, but I don't expect much out of him. Kels against the Chargers, should be fine. Waddle against Vegas, Pascal. Who she got on her bench? Oh, she benched Galladay. Yeah, I would definitely start slotting Galladay over Pascal. How about you?
Does Carson play? He sprained both his ankles. I don't even know if Wentz is playing. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, no, I did. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to play. So
who's their backup? I know Brissett's in Miami, so who's in?
Jacob Eason?
I don't know if I don't know if he's good or not.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like Waddle.
Yeah, that is Jacob Eason. Yeah, well, okay. So what would you do to a lineup?
I would honestly, me personally, I would only because I know how much or the extent I would go to. I personally would look up Eason highlights, like Jacob Eason highlights, to see if he actually can throw the ball decently. And then if he looks competent, I'd start Pascal. And if he doesn't, I would plug in Galladay, and then vice versa. I mean, I know Brissett, but
okay. All right. Well, Pascal's had 2 good games. He's had decent volume. So yeah, I guess you're right. It comes down to kind of do you like Eason or not. I would probably take.
I'd probably choose Kenny Galladay over him. Either way,
that's why I lean. I know Pascal's had 2 better games than Galladay, but I think the better player is definitely Galladay, and a good game's coming for Kenny, and it would suck to miss it. Yeah. But okay, who do you give this game to?
I think Kittle against Green Bay comes back. I mean, that's going to be that should be a shootout. So I probably lean towards Ashley, especially if Amari Cooper doesn't play. Definitely towards Ashley.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. If Amari doesn't play, I give it to her. Otherwise, I'm kind of split. I think some of Kate's players, I think they're going to have some good games this week. I think we're going to see Saquon with his first best game of the season. Honestly, I think Juju's going to have a good game. Russell Wilson, you're going to have a good game there. Travis Kelce, same thing. So, I could see this going either way. But you're right. If Amari Cooper's out, I think it's Ashley for sure. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. It should be. Let me let this load. For me, it's Justin and Henry. Okay. So 1-1 versus 1-1. All right, let's see here. Okay, Aaron Rodgers against San Fran. Okay. Diggs against Washington. Mike Evans against the Rams. Ooh, he's got a lot of tough matchups. A lot of tough defense plays here. Um, oh man, Landry's out now, so let's see who he's going to slot in over Landry. Oh,
He
Corey
doesn't get
Davis.
defense either.
No, I'm sure I'll pick one up. Probably put in Corey Davis over Landry.
I don't love it.
Look, I mean, he's got like against Chicago, against the Rams, against San Fran, against Washington, against like everybody on his team is playing a tough defense except for Miles Sanders playing against Dallas. Like,
And Tyson.
yeah, and Tyson too. Like
Detroit
those are the only
sucks.
two. Tough matchups there. I'm gonna look at Henry's team now. I mean, Jameis kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Probably go with one of the other quarterbacks, but
I don't know. All his quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah, I'd still probably roll Burrow over
yeah,
Winston,
I'd probably
honestly, at
go
this
Burrow.
point. Clyde sucks. Like McCaffrey is honestly the shining star of his team. Um, God, I don't know. Who do you give it to here? Is there like I don't like either of these teams'
I
matchups.
like Henry's. I like Keenan Allen. I still like Godwin after McCaffrey.
Yeah, uh,
Uh, until I see who but he does have Gronk.
I know. They're very even, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, I give it to Justin here. I think I lean
I
Justin.
was gonna just because of his quarterback. If Henry had a competent quarterback to play this week, I'd probably go him.
Yeah,
I just don't like. I don't like any of his quarterbacks.
yeah. No, me neither. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go Justin there, but that one's pretty close in my opinion. All right, how about we move on to the next one? Let's talk Melissa and Chris. MS Mother Tuckers and Only Makes Boys. Um,
What's the thing behind his name?
so I'm not 100% sure of this, but Chris has two sons and only sons. So my
So he
guess
only
is he only makes boys. That's my guess. I don't know. Otherwise, he'll have to let us know.
that
Um,
that sounds like what it would be.
makes some sense to me. All right. Melissa, Kyler, Tyreek Hill, Sutton, Harris, Rojo, Pitts,
I
Chase,
already
Beasley. Yeah, I
yeah,
like her team a lot,
I like
except
her
for
way more.
Rojo and Beasley. If she could get those guys subbed out, I think her team would be looking phenomenal. Josh Jacobs is not playing this week, right? Or have they confirmed that yet?
He's just very questionable. I don't
Okay.
think he plays.
Her depth sucks. I love a lot of her starters, but like I'm like, okay, who can she sub out for Rojo? And I look down here and I'm like,
Nobody.
nobody. And I'm like, who can she sub out for? Like Cole Beasley or something, and I'm like nobody. So, I think she's got a lot of stars. I think the Suttons and the Hills and
Kyler.
Murrays can kind of overcome some of those turds. But let's look at Chris's. Okay, Mahomes always good there. Ayuk. I try to
We'll
trade. I try
see.
to trade Chris for Ayuk, um, just because I feel like better things are in store for Ayuk, but it could be a while, and it could be not at all. So, but I kind of wanted to share there. Ayuk, but I just don't like the Ayuk play this week until we see him like fully in action.
Yeah.
I don't want him in my lineup. Chark, disappointing. Mixon's got a tough matchup against Pitt. I don't like that. Chris Carson, okay, should be fine. Tanyan, you're looking for the touchdown. Jamal Williams, okay. Mark Ingram. I don't like Chris's lineup this week
Nope.
really at all. Like outside of Mahomes and maybe Chris Carson,
That's
I
it.
could kind of leave the whole thing. I'm gonna give this one to Melissa, absolutely hands down,
Yeah.
regardless of Rojo and whoever else she might have to start. So let's move on to the next one. Let's talk. Let's see. For
It's
me, it's
Scott and Moon.
Jimmy. Yep, Scott and Moon. All right, Jimmy's team or week 2 high score here. Oh, he's got Lamar Jackson in right now. Good call, Jimmy.
I agree with that one.
Yep, against Detroit. Oh my God, Lamar's going to put up 100 yards rushing easily. Um, Actually, this could be the kind of game where like he doesn't need to run a lot. You know what I mean? He might just
Yeah.
air it out and just win that way. Justin Jefferson against Seattle, that should be a good matchup. Julio again, Derrick Henry. Slightly tough defense matchup for Derrick Henry, but I'm not worried. Melvin Gordon against the Jets should be okay. Waller against Miami. Mike Williams, I'd get Gabe Davis out of my lineup. Who's he got down there? If I think
Mm,
Odell is supposed to play this week, I would definitely play Odell over Gabe Davis, 100%. Like I don't care that it's his first week back in a long time.
Yeah, I
Jarvis
still would.
Landry's going to be out. Like give me Odell. Um, so solid lineup, I would say for the most part. Again, if Odell plays, even better. Looking at Scott's team, Josh Allen's been disappointing, but eventually he's going to bounce back. Same with DK, Thielen, Chubb, Montgomery, Fant, Claypool. He's got Hollywood in there now, which is good. I like his match. I like his teams a lot actually. His players. Um, what are your thoughts here?
Mm, I'm leaning towards Jimmy, but I do like Scott's people a lot, and he has a lot of players with good ceilings.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's kind of I'm
it'll
leaning
be
Jimmy here
close.
too. Just because I think the Lamar and the Derrick Henry. I mean, those two guys alone could win him the week. Um, like honestly, like if Derrick Henry puts up another 30, 40 point game, I'm not surprised. If Lamar Jackson puts up 30, 40 points, I'm not surprised. Um,
Yeah,
I guess Scott's got a lot of people that could do the same thing, but I just trust some of the Jimmy's players more. So I'm gonna give this one to Jimmy, but I think it's closer than the projections imply. All right, let's go and look at what are we up to you now?
yeah.
You are playing Shannon. 1-1 and 1-1. All right, let's look here. Okay, Herbert against Kansas City. That's a good matchup. AJ Brown, hopefully he has a bounce back. Terry, okay, should be fine there with Heineke. Dalvin Cook in Seattle, that should be a good matchup. Um, Gaskin against the Raiders. Jared Cook, Cooper Kupp against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can be beat through the air, so I
Yeah.
expect a big game from Kupp. Very big game,
They're
honestly.
missing a lot of their safeties, I believe,
Mm,
or corners. I don't know. They're banged up one of those
right,
positions. So,
exactly. So yeah, I think Cooper Kupp will eat. Damian Harris against New Orleans is tough, but that's fine. What do you think about your matchups?
um, I don't know. It's hit or miss. I think I have some consistency, but I have some players that can like really poop the bed again. Like AJ Brown could definitely. If Tannehill doesn't want to throw good, that could be a dud.
Yeah,
Cook, pretty hit or miss. Gaskin's hit or miss. So, uh, I don't love it.
yeah, they're okay. These are kind of neutral matchups in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at Shannon's then, and we'll compare from there. I expect a bounce back game from Dak. I think he'll definitely have a better game than he had last week.
Yeah,
Devontae, tough matchup, but he'll be okay. He'll probably hit 20 points. T. Higgins against Pitt, 15 points is probably about right. Eckler kind of lines up with your Herbert there. Mike Davis, okay. Andrews against Detroit, okay. Debo against Green Bay, I like. Antonio Brown, okay, we'll see. Um, I think I like your team more this week, honestly. I think I just like some of your players more.
yeah. I don't
You know,
love Mike Davis.
no, that's me too. Like I don't like Mike Davis. I don't like Mark Andrews that much this year. Antonio Brown, okay, up and down. He had a great week one, but we don't know what we're going to get week to week with Antonio Brown. Apparently, T
Yeah,
Higgins I don't like. So it's like for me, it's like Dak is good, Devontae's good, Eckler's good, Debo's good, and then outside of that, I'm just like meh. On your team, I like Herbert, I like Brown, I like McLaurin, I like Cook, Dalvin Cook that is, and Kupp and Harris. Like I love all those guys, even if they have okay matchups or whatever. I just like the talent of those guys. So
yeah.
that's why I like your team here. They're my pick. Let's see if anybody on the bench here is worth subbing in. Nah.
No, I don't
You
think
got
there's
Darnell
bad.
Mooney. I like the Darnell Mooney there. He could be startable at some point. He had a great week.
I hope Dalton misses a couple weeks so Fields can
Yeah,
show off.
that would be nice. That would definitely be nice. We got Marvin Jones down there too. That's pretty good. Okay, all right. Let's talk about. I think I'm last. Um,
You
I don't
are.
even know who I'm playing this week.
You're
Oh, I'm playing JT.
playing
Okay.
GT.
All right. The other another coworker matchup here. All right. So Tannehill, hoping for better things. Continued to hope. Lockett, I'm hoping he continues his hot
He should
stretch
be
too.
just fine.
Yep, should be fine. It's a decent matchup. CeeDee Lamb against Philly. If
Just
Dak bounces
fine.
back, then CeeDee Lamb's going to be fine. Jonathan Taylor against Tennessee. I do expect better things this week. It's not the Rams. He can definitely run on Tennessee, so I'm hoping. Antonio Gibson's got a bit of a tough matchup, but it is what it is. Hawkinson's not a great matchup. Deontay, I'm probably going to have to sub out.
I don't know. Hawkinson we can handle Kelsey. I think Hawkinson might be fine
Yeah,
too.
he probably will be. It's not, it's not again, yeah, we just got lit up by two tight ends, right? Waller week 1 and then Kels week 2. So
Yeah.
it's not like Baltimore is freaking invincible or something. So I'm
Nope.
not too worried about Hawkinson. It's just not an ideal matchup. I'll probably end up having to swap out Deontay Johnson. I don't really like Deontay against or DeAndre Swift against us this week, but I kind of have to keep him in there. Um, I might have to sub out Deontay for like Pittman or something, which I don't really want to do, even though he just had a great game. I'm not because, like you said, Carson Wentz is probably not going to play. Jacob
Yeah.
Eason is who knows. Jacob Eason might just focus on who the hell knows, Mo Alley Cox or something, JT's team, Stafford. We already talked about sort of liking the Cup play, so Stafford's right in line there. Robinson against Cleveland, sure. Ridley against the Giants. Zeke against Philly. Javante Williams against the Jets should be pretty decent. Juwan Johnson, Woods, Shepard. He's got Henderson on the bench so far. Okay, there's some okay matchups in there as well. All fairly neutral in my opinion. I think I like my team more, even though I'm probably going to have, I'm going to lose Deontay Johnson this week. I think I just like, he's kind of. I don't like Javante that much. We've talked about this with Melvin Gordon. Like he's just the Denver running backs just aren't that great this year so far. They just can't really run the ball.
Because they're also splitting, right? They're not sticking to one person to let
Yeah,
them eat.
and
So
maybe that's part of the problem is we're not letting them kind of get into a tempo. But I don't love him. I don't love Juwan Johnson. I don't love Bobby Trees. We talked about has been kind of disappointing. So um, he's just got some kind of okay matchups.
yeah,
And my guys have okay matchups too. I just happen to really like their talent. So I lean my team. What do you think?
I'd probably do as well.
Yeah, but every week's
But
different.
I could see this week definitely being close.
Oh
If
yeah,
he
for sure.
if he can get a better tight end, because I don't know. New England's been known for always shutting down tight ends.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
So
matchup, especially
I
after
don't like.
Jameis just had a really crappy game.
Yeah.
Like I just, it's hard to imagine Juwan. Juwan again. Everybody was chasing that week 1 where he had 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. So,
Yep.
he's going to be a touchdown guy. Okay, well I think that's it. We covered all 6 matchups for week 3. We talked
Yep.
about Jimmy being our week 2 winner. Anything else you want to add, Chad?
That's it. Good luck, everyone.
Yep. Good luck, scrubs.
That's
Get
right.
bodied, as they say. I think so. We'll see you all next week.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.